So welcome to this session, and the title is, as you can see on the screen, Technology Integration into Language Teaching. And the narrowed down version is that I'm going to focus on the SAMR framework of technology integration. This is one of the many models that exist out there. The educational technologists have suggested to us that there are many of them which can be used with students, and in a sense to keep an accountability for ourselves to what extent we are successfully integrating technology into our teaching. So this is one of those things. It not only helps us in bringing technology to the students, it's a reflective thing for us. It's an accountability tool for ourselves to see, are we using technology in the first place? And if we are using it, are we using enough? Is it of the quality that we can consider as actually use of technology in our classrooms? So with that spirit, in this session, I'll be just focusing on two things. The first part is to do with technology integrated teaching, and here we will talk about why it is important. And the second important thing is the evolution, from a traditional teaching to a technology integrated teaching, how it evolved. I'll just be quickly commenting on that. And then we will together discuss the challenges that we have as teachers, or all teachers have, in integrating technology in their teachings. And then the main part, the SAMR model, which is one of those models, as I said, we will introduce it, we will discuss the elements of the model, and finally, we will try to apply it in our context, how it can help us to apply in our classrooms. Right, so let's start with someone next to you. I want you to discuss three questions about this photo. I hope it's clear. Starting from this end, you will see a pattern going this way from the past to the present, right? And I want you to discuss three questions, and each question will be roughly 1 minute discussion on that. And then I will just flash the second question, and then we will discuss that. So there are three questions in total, and we should take about 3 minutes on that. Right, so this is the first question. There is nothing specific, so turn to anyone next to you and discuss. Okay, let's go to the second question. Okay, yeah, okay, it's sort of mixed. Yeah, I agree with you, but it's sort of mixed. So the line doesn't represent an age, so it's anywhere. Right, okay, let's go to the last question. Okay, so we can identify that the teacher hasn't changed. There is a teacher. There are students. Teaching is taking place, but the other things have changed. That's fine. Now, let's quickly have a look at this very important thing, professionalization of teaching. Now, one thing, when we just look at our own society, we have a complaint from our society, and that complaint is that we are not considered as important as any other member of the society. So the understanding normally in this society is that you are a teacher, you're just a teacher. Right, so this is one thing that goes around, and the history of this thing is as old as probably the recorded history that we know of. It has always been more or less the same thing. And there is a reason behind it. If you compare ourselves to an ironsmith, for example, now what an ironsmith goes through to be an ironsmith, or a mechanic fixing a car, what he goes through to be a mechanic. Now, at the end of that process of training, he can proudly say that, look, I can change the tire of a car. I can change the wheel. I can do this thing. I can do that thing. So I can do something. But in comparison, historically, there has been slightly different thing about teaching. And that is probably represented by George Bernard Shaw, a very big literary figure, who has reportedly said that those who can do, those who can't teach. So as if we were not men enough, we were not worthy of doing things, that's why we moved into teaching. And when I actually browsed just to explore how this sort of derogatory language used about teachers in history, and it's full of it. So you would come across things like that, and the reason was, as I said, that because we were not probably trained in line with an accountant. So at the end of a training, we could not say, okay, what I'm doing, I'm teaching. But can I just say, in the same way as an accountant is saying, right, I'm just, for example, distributing salaries to the people, or I'm receiving money. So those bits of the skill were not part of our training as late as the 1980s. Now, something happened in the 1980s. There were people like Dr. Lee Sherman and all that. They took on themselves to professionalize teaching. They thought, no, this is enough. So much of the social thing, the society's development depends on teachers. So why not to give this profession more of a professional look? And with that thing in mind, they said, okay, so we can improve the quality and the image of teaching in the society. So how we can do that? Let's go back to the model adopted by other people. Let's say adopted by the profession, let's say that of an accountant or an ironsmith or any other. So they actually gave to the society something. So let's also enable teacher in such a way that they're also contributing to the society. So let's equip them with those skills. And then they looked for those skills that they wanted to have in teachers. So that decade, the 1980s, the huge list of skills and sub-skills were identified. And they said, okay, this is what the teachers should know. And if teachers are able to do this, they would be considered as professional teachers. And if they're not able to do it, they cannot do it. And even as late as now, in some countries, if you are not qualified in those skills, people don't consider those people as professional teachers. Now, those set of skills were later grouped together. The first of them was that the content knowledge. So if I'm teaching mathematics, I should know mathematics. If I'm teaching about weather, I should know what weather is. If I'm teaching about geography, I should know geography. So the content knowledge of the subject was one thing, very important, the subject matter. That's the first one. And secondly, they said, okay, that's not enough if you don't know how to teach it. So the pedagogical aspect of it. So knowing the content was not enough, so we should also know how to teach it. So there were so many things under this heading. They put it together and they said, okay, this is the pedagogical knowledge. And together, at that time, this was the final decision that, in a sense, they made, was that if a teacher knows these two things, he's a professional teacher. And this set of skill was called pedagogical content knowledge. So a teacher is a professional teacher who has got pedagogical content knowledge, in short, PCK. PCK was the criteria to be a professional teacher. But definitely things changed, evolution continued, and later in the 21st century, later in the 20th and early part of 21st century, something was added to the list, and that is something we are here for. And that is the technological knowledge. And now, all of this, putting it together, became something like TPAC, Technological Pedagogical Content Knowledge. The TPAC came into being. Now, this is actually what we are, in a sense, expected of knowing. So this is the whole context we are coming with. So in a sense, that was the use of technology in the classroom. And so when we are dealing with things like we always do, learning about the profession, learning about the content, and learning about technology, which is kind of imposed upon our generation, we know it. Technology is imposed on us. We have a variety of issues with dealing with technology in the classroom. And some of those challenges, as we can see here. Right? I just want to let you read those challenges, and if you can agree or disagree, or you may want to add something to it if you want. So, the choice of technology. There's so much out there that which one to use and which one to leave out. You know, every day there is something new coming in. Brother just was asking me about DeepSeek, and that is in the market these days. Everyone is talking about it, a buzzword. Now, you know, maybe in a week's time or at least a month, there will be researches coming out how effective it is in teaching, right? So this is what is happening. And then learners' attitude to technology, teachers' attitude to technology. These are facts.
Learners, not that much because they're born into technology.
That is yet another thing. Still it's an attitude that over-dependence on technology, isn't it? But it's a fact, yes, they are okay with it, but the gap between us and them is so big. That makes it a problem. Then access to technology
Yes.
is yet another thing. That sometimes you just go out and you try to find, for example, let's say, okay, AI is good for making lesson plans. Do we all have access to it?
Internet.
Can we pay for it? I mean, if we start paying for these things, right? So all these things are there. Yeah, please. The very next slide, I'm going to talk about it, if you just allow me to do that, right? So we are going to that.
Generation gap technology.
Yes, exactly. 100%. That's the case. That's exactly the case, that there is a gap between us and them, right? This gap is there. So we have these challenges, the attitude, the literacy, and also sometimes we are teaching something that doesn't allow for the use of technology. I mean, my pacing guide is so much that I can barely finish the course. What can I do about technology? These are the things out there. Now, this is the big question now. Is technology integration such an important thing? What do you think? Why do you think so? Yes, sir. What was it?
Taking education to the 21st century, basically, that is technology, that's where we're going.
Yeah, true.
We need to exploit that thing.
Exactly. Very important point. Yes, sir.
And there is a saying which says that a literate man is someone who doesn't know how to use technology. This
Exactly.
is,
Yes.
the future.
Yeah. You want to say something, brother? Yeah. True. Yeah, 100%. Exactly. Yeah, that's 100% the case. Now, in short, technology integration is important because of the students, the people we're dealing with, the generation we are dealing with.
Technology generation.
And that generation is a DN generation. What is that? There we go. This is the digital native.
Screen age.
Or natives.
The digital natives. They are born with technology. And we were, I mean, the first probably smartphone that I bought was in 2009 or 10. I think that was around that time. The computer that I saw was in 2005 or 6. Now compare that to someone who was born that year. I see, so he has, I mean, they cannot imagine a world without it. So this thing, the digital native, the concept actually came from this man. Around 2001, he is Mark Prensky. He actually conceptualized this whole thing of digital nativism. And according to him, these people belonging to that age have these features. He said these people, they learn by doing. So we cannot teach them any other way around. We cannot teach them by telling them about the right and wrong. They said, okay, they are in a habit of doing things just in time. You just go to IKEA, buy a piece of furniture, bring home, watch a YouTube video, assemble it, and then forget about what you did. Right? The next time you come across it, you won't rely on the information or your own knowledge or try to remember what you did. You will go back to another YouTube video and do it. Right? So just in time learning, this is what they're doing. And then they said, okay, they are multimedia over text. That's what they prefer. Text, reading a whole thing is, come on, let me watch a small YouTube tutorial. It's easier for me to do. Who bothers to read pages and pages, right? Immediate access to information from multiple sources. Yeah, I mean, sitting there, they can, you want to know something? Okay, this is a video about it. There's a PowerPoint presentation on it, and that's a text. This is a photo, whatever. You want to listen to a podcast? Everything is there. So, and then they are content consumers. The content that is being produced on daily basis, millions of megabyte, gigabyte, terabyte of photos, of videos, of audios, images, whatever they're coming out. Who are they coming out for? These people. Just clicking on. They're consuming it. And they are networked. Network interaction with multiple people at the same time. They would be sitting with you on a dining table, but at the same time, they are connected to 5 different people up there. Right? And I mean, in a sense, is it a weakness? Why we don't consider it as an opportunity? That if they are so well networked, why we are not using it as a tool to teach them? Right? So this is the whole idea of using technology with the students and multitasking. I mean, for me, even a small thing, I'm on a phone call and doing something out there, eating food. Even I forget eating when I'm on the phone call. Let me finish one and then go to the other. You know what these people do? And they're reading, driving and reading, driving and messaging. You see, this is what they are very good at. Now, moving on to, so this is what it is, but I'm afraid we might run short of time, so I just wanted to skip this. Should I? Okay, fine, let's do it. Let's do this. Okay, but so as I said, the multitude of technologies existing out there, it's so much that it's not always an easy thing to choose which technology we should use and which one we should just leave. And we don't know if those things exist out there or not, right? So an attempt by this one here, probably Matt Cohn and others, they wrote this book in 2011 or around that time. They put together all the technological tools and they categorize them into 9 categories. And the categories are here. So there is a tool called the word processing application. So the categories come from them and the examples are mine, actually. I have just put examples into this to make it, sort of understandable for everyone. So they actually listed the categories. So all the technologies that we have, or in other words, the educational technology that we use go into one of those categories. There is called kinesthetic technology, so that's the one. There is reference and database one. We normally use RefWorks and stuff, right? Zotero, if you are into research and all that, you know it. Instructional media, communication and community. So that's a list of the categorization of the technological tools out there. So this is on one side. This is the list of technology. But now the thing is, if the technology exists out there, how we are going to use this in our teaching? Should I just go and pick up a group of things and start using it? That will not do. Just by picking and choosing things gives an impression that as if technology is something from where everything should start. Going back to what Brother Wazir said, there is something, and we also saw that in the photo, there is a constant in teaching. And that constant is that we are teaching. There's a student, he has to learn. Teaching has to take place. Effective teaching has not changed. What has changed is probably someone, Brother Abdul Jabbar said, what has changed is the tool. Teaching hasn't changed, right? So let's go back to teaching first. Technology integration should not start from the tools. It should not start from technology. It should start from our needs, what we are doing. And what we are doing is, there's the Robert Garnier is an educational psychologist from the US, and he gave us this well-known list of events of instruction. So in any form of teaching that we are involved in, we do these 9 things in a class. So we are gaining attention. So this is one of those things we do in the classroom. We inform learners of what is the objective of our teaching. We are telling them, we are trying to simulate or recall a prior knowledge. We present the content, we provide learning guidance, elicit performance, we provide feedback, we assess performance, enhance retention and transfer. These are the things that we do in any language class. Do you want to say anything about it? Do you want to add anything to it? But maybe, oh, right, that part is not here. Is there anything that we do in the classroom? Just for the sake of testing, can you just see if there's anything not listed? So,
remind students that they actually come with existing knowledge, schemata, that you don't, look at them as students that comes with nothing, with absolutely no information. So basically telling them, listen, I know that you have information, you've got knowledge.
Exactly.
Existing knowledge. So give me one word for that.
I mean, so we can see that there is nowhere here we see technology. We don't have technology here. Now, if you just go back to this thing, we have a list of, the groups of technological tools here. And here is basically the things that we do in the classroom. So the technological tools versus what we do in the classroom. Now, a solution to the use of technology can be, what do you think? Yeah, exactly. So start from here and go and find it. What do you think can help us? For example, if we want to gain attention, let's go back to this thing. What do you think can help us from here? Wait a second. I probably, I have two different versions of it. I think it is, I hope this is one. So I want you to match the events of instruction to the type of technology. Which technology can help us? So maybe the three for you do it together. I'll still give you a page. Some 3 to 4 minutes on that. I'll stop you after 1 minute so that we could just discuss it a little further.
We're from the 70s, 60s, 70s.
Yeah, the Gen Z is the people after 90s and something. I don't know. But we have an identity crisis, Okay, right. Folks, I just want to stop you there to be able to finish these things on time. So do you have any opinions about the thing? For example, what did you take for gaining attention? What type of technology do you think? Instructional media. Okay, fine. Do you all agree on that?
Obviously not. I mean, you're going to have various different answers to this.
Okay, yeah.
Gaining attention could be also communication and collaboration.
Okay. But, I mean, there's not fixed answer. I mean, many of them can come into this. Yes. Yeah, absolutely, yeah, exactly. I mean, you can do that. And what we mean by them, by the way, is instructional media, you mean, right? Or interactives, yeah.
Discovery, education, streaming, so it's...
Yeah, in a classroom, what would be the use of that thing? Because we're talking about this thing in a class. If you know Duolingo and English Central and all that, people, almost every second person is using them to learn different languages. They're sort of on the go, they're interacting with it. But in a classroom context, to what extent we can use them for gaining attention? Remember, this is happening in the classroom. Mind map. But what about inform learners of the lesson objectives?
Word processing applications.
Okay, so like Microsoft Word and all that. PowerPoint, fine, PowerPoint, get it. What about stimulate recall of prior knowledge?
Organizing and brainstorming software.
Okay, brainstorming, exactly, absolutely, absolutely. Present the content, presenting is multimedia creation, yeah, PowerPoint and stuff. Absolutely correct. Elicit performance, any LMS, okay. All right. Yeah, exactly. The collaboration software can be helpful. Yeah. What about providing? Yeah. Well, kinesthetic technology for what?
Elicit performance, practice.
Oh, okay, exactly. Yeah, do it. Show me how you do that, right? That is kinesthetic. Perfectly correct. Provide feedback.
Communication.
What about word processors? Like Google Docs, for example, for writing feedback. It's a very good tool. Okay. Huh? Okay. And where does that go in here? Do we have it? Feedback is a good one. Yeah. It can go into the feedback thing, right? And what about assess performance?
Data collection and analysis.
Okay. Right. Enhance retention.
Instructional interactives.
Yeah, that probably because for later, after class thing, isn't it? So that can be something. But remember, this is a model that can be used to constantly evaluate and assess our use of technology and all that. And you can just keep putting into this. It's not necessary to have these tools in there. You can just put in any tools that you come across. There are so many tools, and I have so many tools I use with my students, and they're not on the list right now here, right? And there are many of them. Now, let's move to the next more important part of our session, and that is the SAMR model. Okay. The SAMR model is basically a framework for integrating technology into teaching. So it's a framework. So any framework, anything that is a framework has steps. You do one thing and then you do the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. That makes it a framework. It gives you a model. It's more practical, right? Now, this was developed by Dr. Robin Pintadora in around 2011, And interestingly, this man was not an educationist. He was a chemist. He was a chemistry professor, not probably professor, he was a chemist by profession, but with a PhD in that, right? So he developed this thing for training purposes in the hospitals, right? And what it does is it helps us to identify and examine teachers' current use of technology, so we can just go back and see, that is the list of instruction I always do in the classroom. Which of them is one thing that I'm never using a technological tool in there? So it's kind of an accountability tool for us, right? So the list that we saw. And now the next thing is, what it does is it supplements the existing traditional course book. So we don't need a new set of books or anything new. We can use our own current way of teaching, the same classroom books, and implement SAMR model on them to make our teaching more technologically integrated. Now, SAMR model has these 4 steps or levels. At the very basic level is the substitution level. This is the substitution level. We will just explain them later. So the substitution level, then we have the augmentation level. That's followed by modification and finally redefinition. These 4 models of technology integration and what we mean by each one of them. The first thing is substitution. Substitution, as the name suggests, you substitute one thing with the other. And in this context, a printed textbook is substituted with a PDF thing. So there's nothing much in it. The thing is, you're substituting one thing with the other. And this is very basic, the base level of technology integration. Right? Content remains the same. There's no change to the activity. Everything is the same. Swap an old tool with a new one. A pen and pencil, for example, is replaced with a word processor tool. So they're still writing. They're doing the same thing.
But they have other tools available to them, like editing, like spelling.
Exactly. Yeah. My editing is like, for example, if you're using an eraser, a digital eraser, for, let's say, the physical one, that's substitution. Mm-hmm. So basically, the idea is,
spell check.
That's word processor, right?
Yeah.
Word processor.
Spell check.
We are going to that. Maybe we'll find it in any of those levels. We will see where it goes, right?
I personally used in my classroom when there was a projector, we stopped writing on the whiteboard or the blackboard. We handwritten, there were transparent sheets. Mm-hmm. We write on those sheets and there was a projector in the class. Yeah. And we just display that one. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. But is it like a presentation, a way of presentation?
No, not as a classroom. Instead, we write on the board.
Mm-hmm.
We write word meaning. Just put sheet there and display.
Okay. I've seen that thing. It's a different tool, right? Exactly. The light thing. Exactly. I don't know. It has a name. I forgot. So substitution. This is the basic level. Let's move to the next thing. So can you just quickly have a look at that? Which one of them is not a substitution level activity? There are some examples here. One of them is not substitution. The technology is there in substitution, right? We do have technology in substitution. But the thing is that technology substituting it or doing something more than that? If it is doing something more than that, it's not substitution.
Yeah, it's doing something more.
Just go to the what's happening in there. So can we do it in any other way? That's having students collaborate in real time on a shared document. This is, an additional, a value addition to it, isn't it? It's more than, look, so if you ever get confused with what substitution is, go back to the physical thing, how you do this physically. It's exactly the same thing. So technology is only changing the tool. Everything remains the same. You're not doing anything differently. So here you're using a pen and there you're typing. So that's the same. There is no problem. Still you're writing, right? But if there is something more than that, for real-time collaboration with people, for example, someone is here and the other one is there, it's not possible. So that is not a physical thing that we do. That needs an advanced level of technology. So for that, look, we need a technology to be able to do that. So this was not possible, let's say, 15 years ago without those tools. Right? So we will go to that next. Now, some tools here. some traditional tools and substitution tools. They are very common, and we always probably use them. For example, pen and paper for writing is replaced with students type their work instead of handwriting it, right? That's substitution, one thing with the other. There is no innovation. Printed worksheets with teachers upload worksheet as PDFs. Substitution, right? So this is a whole list. The physical textbook are replaced with students read digital versions of the textbook, right? So substitution. I think it's clear enough. Let's go to the next one. Next level is augmentation. Now, augmentation is one step up. Now, basically, we will look into this in 3 levels. So the key characteristic, technology adds new features which are not possible in any other way. With the physical things or substitution will not be able to do that. Without technological involvement, we will not be able to do this. But still, there is so much which remains the same, right? For example, here, the technology adds new features or functionalities that may improve the task. So you are improving the quality of an existing task, right? And then the guiding question at augmentation level is, does technology add new features that improve upon the task at hand? So some improvement to the quality of the task. And an example is using Google Docs for collaborative writing. Now look, this collaborative writing with a pen and paper is definitely not possible, especially in a context when we are doing an online teaching. Imagine this. So now this tool is actually there. Now, which of them is not an example of augmentation here? What do you think? Found it? Yeah, so which one is it?
Teacher instruction.
Number?
It's 4.
4?
No?
Now, look, why not 4? I'll just explain that to you. Teacher instruction is supplemented. This supplementing with video is addition, right? You're doing something in addition to a traditional thing. Now go to the last one. Students use PowerPoint to present a pre-written bullet. Pre-bullet is in physical form. And what you're doing is you are bullet points from a script with no additional enhancement or multimedia. So from paper to PowerPoint, there's nothing. So this is not augmentation. Augmentation. It's substitution, exactly. Yeah, it is not augmentation, substitution. Exactly. Now some tools, if you want to take a screenshot of this. So the tool, for example, PowerPoint or Prezi is another PowerPoint. It's a web-based PowerPoint, we may say, is one example. Paper poster in a traditional way or a handwritten presentation. You use, students create presentation with multimedia elements, which is not possible with that thing. So you include a video into your presentation, which is not possible without technology integration. So that's an example. So the whole list is there. You have taken a photo of it, so you may use it later. The next level. Now look, the first 2 things that we talked about, they were, going back to this thing. Yeah, look at this. So the first 2 things, these are just enhancements to the existing thing. Now what we had, the 2 things up there, they're advanced level of technology integration, and they are transformations in a sense. So they're transformative level of technology integration, and that's fairly advanced. Okay, modification. Now modification, the key characteristic is the task is fundamentally changed. The textbook task is redesigned, is changed. And technology plays a central role in enabling this transformation. It was not possible that way if we didn't have this technology. Right? And the reason it was suggested in the book that way because they didn't have any other tools available to do it. So this is a fairly advanced level integration of technology. And a guiding question here is, how does the task significantly change with the use of technology? So if the use of technology modifies the change from what, so look at this thing. A question might arise in with some of you say, right, so why should I change a task? A task is there for a reason in a course book, right? But we know we have to at times. Sometimes, let's say if a student is not able to do one thing in writing, he might be able to do a presentation on that. Right? So you are actually changing the nature of the task altogether. And look at the example. Students create a multimedia presentation or video instead of writing traditional essays. This is an advanced level of technology integration. And some more examples, I would let you read them. Especially the second one. Read the second example. So modification is not limited to an activity in the book. This modification goes on to our own way of teaching too. Now, normally, the classroom instruction is that students come, we teach them, they go home, we ask them to do something, to write something, submit an assignment and all that. Here, the nature altogether changes. Now, how we are going to manage it? This is an advanced level of technology use, which can be done with relevant technology. The last thing is redefinition. And redefinition is technology allows for the complete redesign of task. So the task is altogether changed now. So this task is altogether different. Creating new opportunities for learning and collaboration. And the example is interesting. Students collaborate with native speakers of the target language from other countries using platforms like Zoom. Now you see that. Now there's a task in the book, right? Talk to your partner and think, pair, share, and all that thing, right? That is a very basic level of thing. Now let's say there was a series of webinars offered by one of the universities, probably Arizona University. They were offering a series of workshops on virtual cultural exchange. There's this cultural exchange program. So students from one country go and live with people somewhere in English-speaking countries, in China and all that. Now, a digital version of that, right? The guiding question is, what is the new task? So right now, rather than, think about an answer and tell your partner, you're asking them to interact with someone living in Canada, someone in Australia, right? So that is a huge value addition. Examples are here. Traditional students write essays or dialogues in the target language, and then students create and publish multilingual blogs, YouTube videos, and publish them in different blog sites. So this is a fairly advanced level of technology integration again. One more example. Okay, now I'm just going to take 5 minutes more. I'm giving you a task from one of our textbooks. Just remember the 4 levels of technology integration. And there's a small task here. And the easiest book I could find to print this thing from was one of the textbooks we teach to the health track students. And the task is here, I'm just giving it to you. Research a healthcare company in your country, write a company profile, write information for some of these headings. So we are about 2, 6, 8, 10. So let's say I'm just going to group you into 3, right? Let's see. So can you just check how we can how you can change it in terms of substitution model? You're there, right? And so you are looking for the augmentation thing, and the 3 of you will look for modification. How we can modify it. Think about a technological tool or whatever that comes to mind. So the 2 of you, sorry. Think about it, how we can redefine it. That means an altogether new task. If you want to see any of those slides related to the thing, I can show you. So suggest the change and also think about a tool. Which tool can help you do that? Same thing. So suggest a change and think about a tool, a technological tool. So again, the change, you're doing augmentation, right? So how you can augment it, plus what tool you will use. These 2 things. So when you're substituting, also think about the tool. What tool will help you do this?
Yes, okay.
Right, please.
What else? So basically asking students to,
Instead of writing, they
instead of writing on paper, to upload to a Word document.
Yeah. And what will be the tool?
The tool that we'll be using will be
Yeah, whatever. Think about one. Okay, fine. Name it. Word document, yeah. Huh? Example of?
of the tool.
Yeah.
Give us an example.
So you said it, yeah.
Easy, we've got word processor.
That's fine. Word processor is like, it's a collection of, there's so many.
They help you in it.
Okay.
Did you
can
think
use
about-
Microsoft Word or Google Docs to let students write, type their comments and comment on each other's comments and share.
Oh, okay, so what they would use? What is the tool? It's a good one.
Google Docs.
That's the one.
Microsoft
Exactly.
Word.
Exactly, yes. Absolutely. Or maybe, why don't you just use something like SurveyMonkey?
We don't know.
Use, the surveying tool, or you create, let's say, a Google form and send it to the organizations to provide you this data,
Yes.
right? Yeah, SurveyMonkey is like, it's a tool that is used for, you know it, right? Yeah, surveying. So that can be used even. So all of them are possible. Yeah, sure, it's there. Just in a minute, I'll give you. Yeah. So did you think about it?
About modification by designing a website
Okay.
for this company and then create a QR code for location
Uh-huh.
and maybe make a YouTube video for advertising.
Okay, good one. Yeah. Did you guys think about anything? You changed it, right?
We discussed a lot.
You did, right? Yeah. So what is the final thing you
We
came?
said that watch a YouTube video about a famous company.
So I've seen all the groups have finished. So I just want to start from here. So what is something that you did to substitute it?
So our students basically been tasked to write a company profile on paper, using pen and paper.
Okay.
So basically we would use a word processor as a tool. So students will be using a Word doc, typing it on their mobile phones or iPads or
Okay.
laptops, etc. So from pen and paper, physical pen and paper to word processing it on a computer.
Perfect. Yeah. Great. Yes, sir. Augmentation. How you augmented the activity?
So,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
okay. When it comes to augmentation, here students can use, for example, Google Docs and use SurveyMonkey so that they can share the document, they can exchange and share information about themselves, they learn about each other. Maybe they can have some suggestions to edit and change some of the information in their
Okay. So,
application.
and then they're writing the information. Where do they write the information at the end?
In Google Docs.
In the Google Docs. Fine. Okay. So using Google Docs to create a Google form to create kind of a survey, a questionnaire, to get this information from the companies, and then putting the information together and write an information sheet on that, or maybe some sort of an infographics or something. Absolutely. Yep. Yes, sir. The three of you.
So we talked about modification, so we have to modify
Mm-hmm.
the whole thing. So we ask students to design a website
Mhm.
for this company,
Mm-hmm.
and as for the location, we will create a QR code
Mm-hmm.
and maybe a YouTube to describe the whole company, social media, and for advertising to
Exactly. So it is no more writing information on a piece of paper. So you are doing it as a video, which is a big modification, isn't it? Yes. Yes, sir. Can you just quickly share it?
So we also worked on modification,
Mhm.
and we said you watch 2, 3 videos about different companies,
Mhm.
then develop a video about your company,
Okay.
what it produces and what it works and where it works.
Okay, so you read definition, right?
Yes,
So you change the activity. So you're watching company profiles from different companies, videos on that, and then you are going to create a design for a company that you are actually going to suggest. So something like that, right? It's a good one. It's an excellent idea because everything changes. It's a new thing. It is not this one, right? So now can we quickly some of the ideas that I have put into this substitution? I thought it can be substituted this way. So the idea was students use computer to type their company profile instead of writing it by hand. So it's just typing, right? And Microsoft Word, Google Docs, or any basic word processing software can be useful for that. For augmentation, students use online resources to gather information about the health company. Now look at this. Instead of just going to those companies and get the information, the students use online resources like Google Form, SurveyMonkey, and all of them to get the information about the health company and utilize features like spell check, grammar check. Now look, this is not definitely possible in a traditional way of doing it, right? So that's what they're doing. And what can be used for this? Again, Google Docs with add-ons like Grammarly integrated, online encyclopedias, company websites, and digital libraries can be used for this purpose. And some modification ideas, students create a multimedia presentation. Instead of just writing information sheet about the company, they are creating a presentation on that. And a presentation or a digital brochure that includes text, images, or videos about the health company. They can collaborate in real time with peers, again, a real-time collaboration and all that. That's, again, happening here. And some tools that can be helpful are Google Slides for collaboration, PowerPoint, Canva, Padlet, and all of them can be used for that purpose. Yes, Google Meet can be used for sort of collaboration with each other. Absolutely, yes. Yeah. And the students create an interactive website. You got my idea. Great minds think alike, right? So they are creating, it's a new thing, isn't it? Create an interactive website or virtual tour of the health company, incorporating, now look, because of this virtual design of the company, right? You click here, you go into this office, and that is the operation theater and all that. So a virtual thing. Experiential learning, education is altogether going to change, Rather than telling people about wars, bring the two forces together and let them fight. Gamification, right? Technology, but that's a very advanced level of technology integration. So, I'm just going to give you the good news now.
Thank you.
That's it. Thank you very much. Is there anything maybe you want to discuss or anything, if there's anything you want me to say?
Very interesting. Thank you very much.